Hi, I'm Becca, and this is my husband, Gabe.
That's me.
Welcome to the podcast celebrating Jack Russell Terrier dogs.
And all the joys of companionship with canines of every kind.
Each week, we'll explore all the heartfelt, humbling, and hilarious stories that only dog parents can truly relate to. We're Jack Russell parents. Happy holiday season, puppy parents.
Howdy, one and all.
We hope you are cozy and content wherever you're listening. We're doing our best here in Texas. It finally started getting cold, yesterday?
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm already looking forward to spring.
Yeah, we're tapping out 2 days in.
Yes.
We're done.
Dear winter, you've already overstayed your welcome in what has been a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Interesting year.
What was great for us about 2021 was the Jack Russell Parents Podcast, which launched on March 1st.
Absolutely. We've had such an amazing experience connecting with so many other puppy parents, and we love hearing your stories about how your beloved pups have touched your lives.
We've also loved connecting with the amazing authors and artists who have created timeless works celebrating dogs.
Yes, it's truly been a blessing. So to give ourselves time to reflect on this year's many blessings with our family and friends, and to give us margin to prepare for next year, the next 3 Mondays, we are revisiting the top 3 most popular Jack Russell Parents episodes of 2021.
We know y'all love the Insta-Dog of the Week segment, so before each replay, we'll be featuring a new Insta-Dog for you to add to your feed.
I know I can never get enough cute, fuzzy faces in my scroll.
Plus, the short, fast-paced Zoomisodes that drop on Thursdays will still be new and have some great content, so be sure to tune in for those as well.
Yes, and without further ado, it's time for Insta-Dog of the Week. This week, the fuzzy, Insta-famous face we have for you is Hamburger the Frenchie. You can find Hamburger, aka Hammy, at Hamburger the Frenchie, one word, and Frenchie spelled with an I-E. And boy, is he a ham. So silly and cute.
Yeah.
His bio reads, Adventures in SoCal. He says, I love my dads. Relatable and funny pet parent content. That's always nice. And then Jazz Lake King. So let's hear directly from Hamburger's dad, Michael, about just how special Hammy is and what exactly they mean by Jazz Leg King.
Hi there, my name's Michael. I am Hamburger the Frenchie's dad. Hamburger the Frenchie can be found on Instagram and TikTok. Hamburger's nicknames include Hammy, Lammy, Hamburger Elizabeth, but only when he's in trouble, and Hammy Boy. Hammy is special because he never fails to brighten up our day. My partner, Paul, and I always get a good laugh out of Hammy or a good cuddle session with Hammy. He loves to cuddle. He's super loving and he's super friendly. He's also special because he does this thing called a jazz leg kick, and we call it a jazz leg kick because when he sits down, he has a little jazz leg that sticks out. And after he's done using the bathroom, he'll do a little flutter with his back legs, and so we coined the term jazz leg kick. We love Hammy because he is just an overall sweet boy. He is our first dog, and we've learned a lot from him, not only about how to take care of a dog, but how to just enjoy life. And he always helps us live life to the fullest. And we've gone on so many fun adventures together, and we've met so many awesome pet parents around the United States because of our platform with Hammy. So thank you again for featuring us on your podcast, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
So that's what a jazz leg is. We call it chicken leg in our house.
Yeah,
so it's
kind of a chicken leg.
Kind of same thing. And you put a chicken leg in the bio, so they're kindred spirits there. We also want to mention that the link in bio goes to Hammy's link tree, where you can find merch discount codes and a link to his TikTok.
Yeah, so my favorite aspect of Hammy's page, well, there's so many because, of course, they dress him up as only Frenchies can be dressed up, right? Yeah. I mean, they just look so cute dressed up. So one of my favorites is right there at the top. He is dressed in his Target holiday costume. It looks like he's working at Target. He's got a visor type hat on, and he's carrying a Target bag. He's complete with a red shirt and khaki pants, folks.
And when you dress up a Frenchie, because all the wrinkles, they make him look like an old man, you know?
Yeah, it does.
He's embarking on a second career.
Yeah. And then there's a couple other pictures of him looking longingly at a charcuterie board. And they look fabulous, by the way. You guys did a really nice job on these boards.
I want to go to that party.
For your guest, yeah. But he's just longing for a piece of that salami, man.
Oh, man.
And then the other photo that I really like is down a ways in the middle. And he's sitting right at the table, and in front of him is this plate of sushi, which looks scrumptious. And his little eyes just look like, please let me have a bite. Please, I beg of you. So cute. So, Gabe, what's your favorite?
It's such a great page overall because you can really tell that Hammy is loved and how much time they spend with him traveling and enjoying life. It's really special. But one of my favorite pics for sure is the dog facts meme that they created for Hammy. I've been meaning to make one for Carson too. So basically you just take a cute picture and then you overlay a black and white box that looks like the nutrition facts off of a package of food.
Okay.
And so, but instead of like vitamins and calories, you have percentages of their traits. So for Hammy, they put serving size, 25 pounds, aka chonky. He's not even chunky, he's chonky.
He's chonky.
And then spontaneous zoomies, 90%, farting, 1,000,000%.
Oh my God.
Inhaling treats, 500%, giving puppy eyes, 85, center of attention, 100% of the time. And neck rolls, 70. Right,
Good.
70%, and the heart of a big dog, 90%. Yeah, absolutely.
I think you skipped selective hearing 1,000%.
I'm selective reading 1,000%.
Yes, you are.
Oh, and inhaling treats, 500%.
Oh,
all
my
his
God.
percentages are very high.
That is so fun. Everybody should do that for their dog. I love it. So again, you can find Hammy on Instagram and TikTok at Hamburger the Frenchie, one word. You don't want to miss any of his zooming, scrunchy face antics.
And if you want to be as cool as Hammy's dad, Michael, and give your pup a shout out using your own voice, visit us at jackrussellparents.com/showcase. Click the big red button to record. It's that easy.
It is. And now stay with us to hear our third most popular episode of 2021, Dogs and the Enneagram.
11-year-old Walter just may die of boredom during the most boring summer ever. While exploring an abandoned garden, Walter discovers a mystical elf world where all dead plants spring to life at his touch. The downtrodden elves think Walter is there to save them with his new life-giving powers, to defeat the wicked Ichabod von Schnothoof before he sucks everyone's joy dry with his never-ending list of rules. Walter will need to use his best power yet, his imagination. In a dying, oppressed world, one boy has the power to bring freedom and life. Walter Plume and the Dehydrated Imagination will take you and your middle grade reader on a thrilling journey while igniting the depths of your imagination. Boys to Book says beautiful imagery leads to spectacular world building in this fantasy that will leave the young reader glued to the pages. Relatable characters add to the magic of the story with never a dull moment. Get your magical fingers on a copy of Walter Plume and the Dehydrated Imagination by Rebecca Lynn Morales, now at Amazon.com. Find out more at walterplume.com. Let Walter and his story awaken your beautiful and creative imagination.
Hi, friends. Welcome to the show today.
Dog lovers, we have a fun show planned for you today.
We sure do. Carson has walked. We've had our coffee. And we are going to talk to you about the Enneagram.
The what?
Enneagram.
Honey, it's pronounced Instagram.
Nope. Enneagram. Okay, maybe this will help. The Enneagram is an ancient model of personality in which there are 9 personality types related to each other according to the geometry of the Enneagram figure.
I'm more confused.
Okay. Well, basically, it's a personality test that happens to have 9 different types.
Okay, like a magazine personality test?
I think it's a little more sophisticated than that, but yes, you could relate it to that.
All right. So what does that have to do with dogs?
Well, there are a couple of super fun ways that we are going to approach this topic in relation to dogs. First, we'll look at the 9 different types and help you determine which type your dog is. And we will talk about how knowing which Enneagram type you are can help you be a better dog parent or help you choose the right dog for you and your family.
And we also have an insightful interview with Texas local Enneagram coach Kelsey Taylor.
We do. After we learn about the types, we will hear from Kelsey and about how the Enneagram has impacted her life and played a role in her parenting.
Great. Let's dig into the Enneagram types and see what we find.
Sure thing. I'm going to give an overview of each type. And along the way, Gabe, we can share about what types we are and what type we believe Carson to be. The dog-friendly San Antonio blog has a great write-up about Enneagram types for dogs. See, I'm not the only person who has thought about this, okay?
Okay.
I think a lot of people probably have typed their dogs. So let's get started. Let's start with type number 1. It has a very fun description, and each type also has a name. So Enneagram Type 1 is called the Reformer. Type 1s are notorious for their sense of right and wrong. They are strong advocates for change and are always looking for ways to improve things. They are orderly and maintain high standards for their way of life. Reformers can make ideal canine units in military branches or police forces. And they have a picture of a German Shepherd. And I think overall, a German Shepherd absolutely would fall in the category of a Type 1. Enneagram Type 2 is called the Helper. And they have a picture of a golden retriever. And it says, odds are you've never met a sweeter dog than a Type 2. Helpers are ultimate people pleasers. They are kind, generous, and self-sacrificing. You'll likely find them in service dog roles, doing it all. From opening refrigerators to comforting a loved one with a warm hug and a wet kiss.
That sounds like a golden retriever to me, or a Labrador, the big brontosaurus dogs.
Yes, they're just super loving and just want to be supportive of you. Then we get into Enneagram Type 3, the Achiever. And here they have pictured a bulldog, which is super cute. Energy and ambition are 2 words that come to mind when describing a Type 3. They are diplomatic and poised, but can be overly concerned about what others think of them, making them generally competitive. Achievers can thrive in a competitive setting, such as the AKC Annual Dog Show. I don't think Carson would hold up in the annual dog show.
I think you'd be more interested in saying hi to everybody in the crowd and seeing who has the best popcorn.
Right. Be helping themselves to their snacks. Next, we have Enneagram Type 4, the Individualist. Individualists are their own type of breed. They have an entirely unique approach to life and are not afraid to see themselves for who they truly are. Though they may struggle with feeling like part of them is missing, they make great friends just the same.
That's a lot to analyze about a dog.
Well, I don't know.
You're really digging deep into their psyche.
You can tell if they make friends easily or not.
Okay,
right?
Yeah, sure.
So Enneagram Type 4 is the Individualist, also known as like the romantic. They're the creative type. You happen to be an Enneagram Type 4, Gabe. So tell us about your thoughts on your type.
We're often seen as introverted and quiet, maybe antisocial.
Mm-hmm.
I think we spend a lot of time in our imaginations. We often have to come back from the clouds.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're dark clouds, but sometimes we have to come back down from the clouds and join the conversation. Be present is what you're always saying to me.
I just need you to be present. Yes, I do tell you that all the time. Are you here? Where are you? Can you please come back?
The moment I go off, you're like, where did you go?
But I will say that it is that creative part of you that even came up with the idea of us to have a podcast about our Jack Russell. So
there's a use for it.
There's a positive spin to it all. Absolutely.
And you're a Type 5?
Yeah. So Enneagram Type 5, that's the investigator. And the description in relation to dogs reads like this. It says, curiosity may have killed the cat, but it's a 5's bread and butter. Investigators have a knack for always wanting to know more and dive deep down the rabbit hole of a certain sound or smell. Their ancestors were likely hunting hounds, and that helped track down critters for trade or sustenance.
And the website has a picture of a bloodhound. It is the most deflated bloodhound I've ever seen.
He looks a little wrinkly, but that's okay. It doesn't say it in these means, but oftentimes type 5s can be somewhat suspicious, I think, because we are constantly investigating and analyzing everything that comes across our path. I'm a thinking type, and so I think that's why I love the Jack Russell breed so much, is that they think, like their little wheels are always turning. And when we have talked about other types of dogs and maybe getting a different type of dog, I really just keep going back to the Jack Russell because of how smart they are. Like I want a dog that can engage me, think with me.
He quotes philosophy sometimes and critiques the TV shows we like.
He watches the Frasier show and he thinks, Eddie, I could do it better than that.
But he does like to see his breed represented.
He does. I think he really does. Before we hear about types 6 through 9, let's share a couple of comments from puppy parents. We asked them, what do you think is your dog's Enneagram type and why?
Cassie S. says her dog is number 2 at its finest. Labs are known for people-pleasing and the need to be needed.
Yes. Emily M. says Nola is definitely a 1. Follows all the rules, keeps the other dogs in line, keeps the kids in line. She's the dog that when food spills on the floor, she will guard the food and make sure the other dogs don't eat it because those aren't the rules.
Dang.
I guess she can only eat it when it's in her dish. She's perfectly obedient and needs recognition of her good deeds.
Carson guards it to make sure no one else eats it.
Right. He doesn't care about the rules whatsoever.
He makes the rules.
Yeah.
Brandy G says, my girl Silo is a 3 if I had to guess. She's a Jack Zoo, so a Jack and a Shih Tzu mix. Wow. With lots of energy. She's also a quick learner and knows many tricks. If she wants something, she goes for it. And here is a video of her winking at me. That's great.
That's super cute. Speaking of energy, I could use a little break to recharge.
And some coffee.
Yes. I found the best way to meet new people is through our mutual love of dogs. People love sharing their dog stories with other puppy parents and introducing their dogs to us and vice versa.
Every time we take Carson for a walk, new friendships are born.
I know, right? Like people cross the street, even come out of their homes to make Carson's acquaintance.
But we can't take him everywhere.
Unfortunately, no. But that's when our Jack Russell parents' attire takes effect. Cute holiday prints like fall in love with a Jack Russell. I'm thankful for my Jack Russell. All I want for Christmas is a Jack Russell. And puppies make this season merry and bright are the perfect way to celebrate the season and your adorable pup. So are you a proud puppy parent that wants to connect with other puppy parents? Or do you simply like super cute doggy themed attire to go with your cozy leggings or heavy coat? Either way, we have what you need at the Jack Russell Parents Store.
All our awesome prints come in a variety of t-shirts, hoodies, baby onesies, coffee mugs, and even face masks. Your choice.
To join the doggy squad, check out all the rad merch options at jackrussellparents.com. Simply click on shop at the top and place your order. Happy holidays, puppy parents! The next Enneagram type is type 6, the Loyalist. And they have a picture of a Boston Terrier. And it says a type 6 is committed to you and what's best for the family. You can always trust them to be happy to see you when you come home. Though they are the ultimate family dogs, they can be suspicious. Oh, type 6 are suspicious too. Family is the most important thing to Loyalists, so don't be surprised when you bring a friend over and they aren't immediately thrilled to see them. Be sure to give them your seal of approval and they'll be good to go. I think Carson is a type 6 because he loves us. to pieces. And he can't be without us. I really feel like he's loyal. And I know we've mentioned it before, but like when we go to the dog park, he'll like, hey dogs. And then he just wants to play with us. So he's really family oriented. And then he also can be quite suspicious. You're in the room without me. What are you doing? How dare you shut the door?
He hates that.
He hates that. So another aspect of the Enneagram that we haven't talked about yet is even though you have a dominant type, like I'm a type 5, there's then what's called a wing, meaning you kind of swing back on the pendulum to one of the numbers right next to your number. So I'm a type 5 with a wing of a 4. Gabe is a type 4 with a wing of a 5.
Perfectly yin and yanged.
Yes, that's why we get along well most of the time.
Most of the time.
And so Carson, I feel he is a type 6 with a wing of a 7 because although he's very loyal, he is also very similar to the type 7, which is the enthusiast. So the type 7's energy and optimism exude from them. They look at the world with adventure in their hearts, ready to explore and experience all it has to offer. Enthusiasts are natural extroverts, and they'll always be the first to say hello at the dog park. Their extroverted tendencies make them susceptible to impulsiveness. Carson is somewhat impulsive and may have a reputation for seeming scatterbrained at times.
So he has those moments where he's very outgoing. He definitely says hi to all the people that come into the dog park. On the rare occasions when there's a very high energy small dog or like a puppy, especially, he loves puppies of all breeds. He'll just play and play and play. But when people bring treats and toys for their dogs, he gets right in the mix and steals their toys and runs around, and we have to chase him and return them. So yeah, he has those moments where he's not so loyal to us anymore. He goes off and finds adventure.
Yes, so that's why he has the wing of a 7. The next type is type 8, which is the challenger, and they have a picture of a Doberman Pinscher. Type 8 is strong and self-confident, but they can also seem intimidating and confrontational. Despite the need for dominance, they can use their strength to improve others' lives in a heroic way. If your pup is a type 8, do yourself a favor and get them some shades. No number 8 should be without sunglasses. It's a fact of life.
Okay, so I should get Carson some shades because the way things work in our house, I know you think he's a 6. He's super loyal and loving, but it's like, well, from your vantage point, it makes sense because you're the alpha. He's number 2, and he's let me know on many, many occasions that I'm number 3. He actually holds up his paw with 3 little toes sticking up to remind me on a regular basis. I would say he's an 8, the challenger, the strong man. He's an 8 with a wing of a king. So as long as I'm a good, loyal subject, bring him his slippers and keep his bowl full, then we're in a good place together.
Wow.
It's all about perspective.
Yeah, well, I suppose it is. Yeah, well, that is a reality for you. I'm sorry. I still think he's a 6.
True. You know it's true.
Okay, well, moving on. So from type 8 to type 9. Type 9 is the peacemaker, and this is a picture of a border collie. Type 9 is the most chill type you'll ever meet. They are in a constant state of zen and excel at finding painless solutions to problems. If type 9 could have it their way, everything would be without conflict. Because of this, they can tend to be complacent, minimizing anything upsetting. As long as you don't expect them to do anything more than love you unconditionally, they'll be fine.
See, I don't know. We thought that Carson would be that, like kind of type 9 peacemaker, just chill and loving because our last Jack was like 17 and a half before we lost him. And so that's kind of what he was. But he was kind of that way his whole life. So he just got more and more chill as he got older and older.
Right. And so, but I think that's what's pretty cool about personalities in general, right? Whether people or dogs, we find a way to make it work. We find a way to love each other despite our differences.
Keep them happy.
Stop.
Happy puppy, happy life.
That's right. That's very true. Here are a few more puppy parent responses to what do you think your dog's Enneagram type is and why?
Emily C. says Mocha is a 7 with a wing of an 8. She loves people more than dogs, but also does things like look right at you when she pees in the house, when she was a puppy, of course.
Draker D says, my wife and I are totally convinced that our dog, Jonas, is a 6. He is a total loyalist and craves security.
Nancy G says her dog is a 7. She always wants to play, and she's 11 years old. She has a lot of toys and bumps into everything because she doesn't pay attention. She's funny and very curious and nosy, and it's a Jack.
Of course, it's a Jack. Caitlin R says, I thought I was the only one to figure out my dog's Enneagram. She's got a bunch of laugh cry emojis. Caitlin, you are not the only one. This is the most fun thing to do. And she says that my big dog lab is a 9 with a wing of a 1, very chill and tidy. And he sings to cello music.
He's sophisticated.
He's a sophisticated type 9. So cute. We'll be right back with our special guest and Enneagram expert, Kelsey Taylor. Aloha Mama Apparel wants to spread the spirit of aloha. Genesis Belote, the creator of Aloha Mama Apparel, was born on the mainland and resides in Southern California. But she cherishes her Hawaiian culture and honors the half of her family that lives on the islands. She loves being a mama and a designer. At Aloha Mama, they know being a mama is hard work, but it's the best work. That's why they style mamas and kiddos in apparel that is bright and filled with beachy vibes. For the cutest casual attire celebrating the spirit of aloha, go to shopalohamama.com. That's shop, ALOHAMAMA.com. Shopalohamama.com.
So what's next in this fascinating world of the Enneagram?
Now it's time to hear from Kelsey. She is going to go a little deeper than we have to this point. And as a type 5, I cannot wait. We are here with Kelsey Taylor, who is a dear friend and Enneagram expert. We have had several conversations about the Enneagram, and Kelsey, I've so enjoyed those conversations. I always find you to be so knowledgeable and articulate on the topic. So why don't you tell us, how were you introduced to the Enneagram?
Oh, thank you, Rebecca. I'm so excited to be here. And I love the positive spin that you put on this, because sometimes people tell me I'm a little overly passionate. So I will stick with knowledgeable.
Absolutely.
To answer your question, I first heard about the Enneagram almost exactly 5 years ago on a podcast, one of Dave Ramsey's EntreLeadership podcasts. And Ian Morgan Cron was being interviewed on the podcast. He wrote the book, or co-authored the book, The Road Back to You. And on the podcast, he was just kind of going through explaining what the Enneagram is. And I remember thinking, I should take that assessment. So as soon as the podcast was done, I raced to my computer, typed in the website and took my assessment. And I got results that just basically said, you're the type 1 perfectionist. And so I read a brief description and thought, yep, that sounds about right. That sounds pretty accurate. And then I kind of left it at that. I didn't think anything really of it until a couple of months after that. My husband actually purchased the book, The Road Back to You. And he began to start reading it. I remember I was laughing so hard when he handed me the checklist for the type 1. And he had even written my name at the top of the book, could this be Kelsey? And I was just like, yes, absolutely. And so it wasn't until he purchased the book that I really got engrossed in the Enneagram, because now I had this other person in my life that I could talk to about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is really the thing, right? To have people in your life who you can talk to about this, and they get it, and they get that you're a type 1 and then I'm a type 5, what that means, right?
It is so much more fun.
It really helps you understand other people and where they're coming from and how they operate. And if you care about them and want to get to know them better and have deeper, more fulfilling relationships, the Enneagram is a good place to start.
Oh man, that's perfectly said. And when you have people in your life, they really bring the knowledge that's just on the pages. They kind of bring that to life.
So, what role has the Enneagram played in your life besides drawing you closer to your husband?
Oh man, and that's a big one too. But I have to say, Enneagram in general has just made all aspects of my life better because it has helped me understand myself, why I do the things that I do, and then understanding other people, why other people do the things they do. So I always tell people the Enneagram, first and foremost, is a place where you can build self-awareness. And once you have a good grounding for that, then you have the capacity and the space to really see the world from the perspective of other people. And so I've also found the Enneagram to give me the ability to identify whether I'm healthy or when I'm stressed, and then ways that I can kind of help get back on track. So for instance, gosh, a few years back, I was having some stress around a big project at work, and my Apple Watch would like alert me and say, hey, your heartbeat rose to 150 beats per minute while you appeared to be sitting. And I would just look at my watch and think, what?
Kelsey, that's crazy.
Wild. It was so wild. And so I think the Enneagram works exactly like that alert. It just helps you become aware of those unhealthy behaviors that you wouldn't otherwise be attuned to so you can get some help. And I intentionally use the word help because my irregular heartbeat, I needed help. I could not fix that. So I needed to go to a doctor. And I hate giving off the impression that the Enneagram will just fix you because it doesn't. But what the Enneagram does do is it just gives you the awareness.
So how has the Enneagram affected your parenting?
Here are so many really phenomenal things where the Enneagram can come into play. As a type 1, I know now through the Enneagram how I can sometimes forget to have fun. But fun is so essential for your kids. And I have a 3 and a 5-year-old. And so fun is even more, especially, I feel like, essential for this age group. And so I have a tendency to want to put off all the fun until all the work is done. The problem with that is that the work is just never done. And so I have zero fun. Knowing and being aware of that weakness of mine, now I have intentional scheduled fun where I get to do something just for the sake of fun. And that has been such a blessing because it makes me really engage with my kids and enjoy them. And I don't feel like I'm putting off some of these really beautiful moments until later, and yet later never comes.
Fun is essential to children and to our pets. I know that Carson will decide late afternoon that I have worked enough, and he starts bringing me toys, pulling on my arm to get me out of the chair. He helps me make time for fun.
So have you ever been a dog parent?
Oh, yes. We are dog people. We have 2 dogs actually at the moment. Dachshund Terrier mix. Her name is Lila. She's 7. And then we also have a black lab named Tucker.
If you were to guess their Enneagram types, what would they be?
Oh, we've had tons of conversations around this. My husband and I, we both agree that our Dachshund Terrier mix, we know that she is a type 6, beyond the shadow of a doubt, because she is extremely playful and jovial. She captures that like really lighthearted, fun, and playful essence of the type 6, but she also lives in constant anxiety. And I think this is partly because when we found her, she was lost or abandoned. We just found her on the side of the road and took her in. And she does not do well with storms. She does not do well with strangers. And so we think it might be tied back to that time in her life where she was lost or abandoned. And then we also think she might just be anxious because she lives with a 3 and a 5-year-old who are constantly trying to love her, and they just chase her around the house. And so she does not perceive that as love. And then Tucker, our lab, we would say he's a 9. 9s can be very fun and upbeat and easygoing, and we definitely see that in him. But most of the time, he kind of matches the mood of the family. So if we are all wanting to play, he is totally there and he wants to play. But if we're all just wanting to hang out, chill, and relax, then he's all too happy to hang out and relax too.
I just have a couple more questions for you. So, and this is probably a tough one, but taking on everything that you know about the Enneagram and how it's affected your life and your parenting, what is the most important piece of advice you would like to share with listeners today?
Yeah. Oh, I touched on this earlier, but I think it's appropriate to come back and just emphasize. The most important thing, especially in regards to the Enneagram, is to remember that the Enneagram itself is not the ultimate fix. It is simply just a very useful and helpful tool.
And just lastly, what are your future plans with Enneagram coaching and teaching?
That's a fun question. I love that you asked that. Future plans, honestly, for teaching is just to build awareness and to share the knowledge and the gift that the Enneagram has been for me personally, for my marriage, for parenting, and then how I work in the workplace. I have a big passion for team trainings and team buildings. So that's kind of where the Venn diagram overlaps for me with the Enneagram is I'd love to get into small businesses or business organizations and have them have this common language where they can understand themselves and each other.
That sounds wonderful. And I truly hope that this continues for you along those lines, because I think it's really a great fit for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you so much for giving us your time today and sharing with our listeners how much benefit that the Enneagram can bring to their lives.
We know that the Enneagram was designed for human personalities, but if your dog is anything like ours, they have more personality than we know what to do with. Whether you're parenting your dog or your little humans, or whether you're working on your marriage or other important relationships, the Enneagram is a great place to start. Carson thinks so too.
I'll be right there, Your Majesty.
Did you enjoy this episode? Did you learn from the content? Or did you just have a good, relatable laugh? Well, now what? It's time to subscribe, follow, keep listening, and give a positive review on the Apple Podcast app. Then share the podcast with other puppy parents. This will allow us to connect you and your friends with fun, dog-loving content week after week. Until next time, this is Becca and Gabe, the Jack Russell parents.
Say bye, Carson.
We'd love to connect with you online at jackrussellparents.com or on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at JRT Podcasts. That's at JRT for Jack Russell Terrier Podcast.
The Jack Russell Parents Podcast is produced by Earball Audio.
Jack Russell Parents is brought to you in part by Super Chewer. From the makers of BarkBox, Super Chewer is a themed monthly delivery of toys and treats made especially for dogs who play harder and demand a challenge. Simply go to jackrussellparents.com and click the Super Chewer link to enjoy their great offers while also supporting our podcast.